Hi, everybody doing this, the Mind of Greatness podcast. It's your host, where we got many hosts, but we got two today. The other two are handling their business with their family. Shout out to them, excuse me, and Mike. They with their families. But I'm Boss K Poe through the door. That's Soldier B Houston, Mind of Greatness podcast. Here to talk about sports, anything life related. We ain't running from no smoke, no topics, nothing. Everything will be discussed. Today's topics are going to be the NFL reactions to key games that caught our eye. We're going to talk about that Charlo versus Canelo. We're going to give our predictions on that. And we're going to do that Colorado watch. Deion Sanders, man, he doing his thing up there. So B Houston, man, we're gonna start this off right. What games caught your eye this Sunday, man? Let me know something.
What it is, folks. Like you said, we back at it again. I got into the Atlanta Falcons versus the Packers game. That was a real interesting game. Fun, exciting game to watch. All in all, both offenses showed up and they balled the hell out today. I'm glad to see the future of the NFL starting to look good and take shape. For the Packers, Jordan Love cashed in a stellar performance, throwing 151 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and they were all three were caught by rookie wide receivers. Two to Jaden Reed from Michigan State, and one from Deontavian Wicks. Boy, they got to get these names down. These some long names y'all got nowadays. But anyways, they were all three passes were caught by rookie receivers. For the Packers again, not much from the running game without Aaron Jones. Hopefully they get him back soon, because with them having a balanced passing attack, it'll help them close our game, especially with the running game being led by Aaron Jones. That's a stellar guy. We need to get that running back on the field. Hopefully he get healthy soon. For the Falcons, this was a good confidence boost type of win for y'all. Uh, they moved to 2-0 with something to build off of. Good job, Desmond Ritter. But I want to talk about this cat, Bijan Robinson. As you know, in previous episodes, I had picked him to be the offensive rookie of the year. And today it was as advertised. He had a buck 24 running the ball. He also racked up 48 receiving yards. So at the same time, I just want to put it out there that if you get a chance to watch this cat, you should watch him. He's one of those running backs that it's not you don't want to miss out on his career. You don't want to waste time not seeing what he has to offer as a running back. His vision is elite. His explosiveness is off the charts. You know what I'm saying? You got to see that. His playmaking ability is straight God given. Like I haven't seen a dude move like this at running back in a long time. It's sweet, it's smooth, it's nice. Everything transitions well. Not only that, he line up at receiver, he line up in the backfield, he line up in the slot. So shout out to Bijan Robinson. Excuse me. The Falcons might want to pay this man a little early. Yeah, they might want to pay him, because if not, he get to somebody else and get paid his over with. Y'all got the rest of the league got to deal with him, but I feel like y'all gonna have to deal with him too. Uh, Again, the future of the NFL was bright today in this game. I think, let me get the score right. It was the Falcons winning 25-24. Then the next couple games I had got a chance to look at, it was the Giants. They came back from behind in the crazy fashion. They was down by 21 and found a way to revive themselves and get the win. Saquon Barkley showed up a little bit, both in the passing and the running game. He had 17 carries for 63 rushing yards with 1 touchdown, and he also had 6 catches and 29 yards receiving with the touchdown. He did get hurt. It was an ankle sprain, nothing serious, because he a little bit injury prone, so it's good to see his legs are strengthening and getting better. But he did have an ankle injury. Hopefully, they revealed a negative MRI and X-ray. I also caught the Commanders and Broncos. Sam Howell, where you get that from, buddy? He looked a little different today. B-Enemy had him by the neck almost earlier because he wasn't producing. But then by the end of the game, you can see they was on the same page and they got everything going. Russell Wilson had to throw up a Hail Mary. It was tipped twice. And somehow, what's his name? Brandon Johnson, the receiver, caught it in the end zone. It was kind of going to send the game to overtime, but they had to go for the 2-point conversion. And Benjamin St. Juice saved the day for the Commanders to get the win. So that was a good game. Those some of the games I got into, and those some of the games I thought was cool to watch.
For me, uh, like I said, I also had Falcons, Packers. Great game. I love the young talent that both teams possess. I don't really need to get into stats because B Houston explained everything so eloquently. Uh, London from Atlanta had a decent game, 67 yards. He's supposed to be that number one receiver. I think his name Drake London. Like I said, they got a good thing going there down there with Bijan Robinson, London, Hollins, um, Desmond Ritter. 19 for 32, 237, a touchdown. He did have an interception, but he had a 72.4 QBR. So he had a decent game. He's proven that he can be the starter. Like I said, it's a lot of young talent in the NFL today. You know what I mean? Will they be able to keep this going for a long season? We'll see. But like I said, it's really not that much to really discuss. B Houston really talked about that. My next game was Bills versus Raiders, and the reason why I thought that game was interesting because Josh Allen played phenomenal. He was 31 for 37, 274, three touchdowns, 79.5 QBR. He was sacked twice, but had a good game. The run game helped him out, and this is something that we talked about in the past. Jay Cook had 17 carries, 123 yards. You know what I mean? The receiver, Gabe Davis, had 6 receptions, 92 yards on a touchdown. Diggs had 7 receptions, 66 yards. So you saw Josh Allen spreading the ball around, right? He wasn't really targeting one specific guy. He was spreading the ball around. There were other guys that contributed, but I feel like these were the main guys who got the offense going. But for Josh Allen to have that type of game, that was a good bounce back game. Um, his back was against the wall. People were kind of questioning him as a leader. So I thought this game was important. Going against, I'm not a fan of the coach, but of the Raiders, but at times his teams is very well coached and very disciplined. So and also the defense stepped up for the Bills. For his two turnovers from Jimmy G, held him to you know 100 and some yards passing. He had a QB of 26.3, so he didn't have a very good game like he normally do. And they held Josh Jacobs, and I want y'all to listen to this. Josh Jacobs had 9 carries, -2 yards. That was phenomenal. You know what I mean? That was a whole team effort. So I look at games like that and I'm like, that was good to me. Although it was 38-10, it wasn't like the Packers, Falcons, or the Cardinals, which I'm about to get in that game, Cardinals Giants. It was an all around team effort from the Bills. Offensively, defensively, they were dominant. So I pay my respects to them. Cardinals, Giants. Cardinals came out hot, put 21 on them early, but Daniel Jones stepped up to the plate. Saquon got knocked out of the game, but they still kept fighting. I like that about the Giants. They're a scrappy team, and those teams that you like. You know what I mean? And when you got a scrappy team that's willing to not go out easily. They not willing to fold. They could have folded and got blown out 48-0. You know what I mean? But they kept fighting. They kept clawing. They kept scratching. The week before that, they got whooped 40-0. You know what I mean? So they didn't want that to happen again, right? I mean, it was the writing on the wall. The Cowboys beat them 40-0. You down 21-0 to the Cardinals without Kyler Murray. So I understand the writing was on the wall. They said, nah, forget that. We're going to fight. We're going to come back in this game, and they end up coming back and winning this game. Colts versus Texans. I was at the game. You know what I'm saying? I was in attendance. Although the Texans lost, right? They lost 31-20. I was very impressed with CJ Stroud. Although his line was not blocking, he was sacked 6 times. Um, he had a QBR of 50.2, which is all right. But he was 30 for 47, 384 yards, and 2 tugs. So when he gets time, he can get the ball where it needs to be, right? So I didn't leave that game like, oh, the Texans are a horrible team. I left the game like, okay, they have things in place right now that they can build off of. So I was very impressed with, Texas. I was very impressed with the Colts as well. Them having that offensive coordinator from Philly coming over there and how fundamentally sound offensively they was. Anthony Richardson looked like a guy that, been in the league, you know, uh, a couple of years, maybe 1 or 2 years already. That system, you know, he's catered it to Anthony Richardson. You know what I mean? So I like that. I like, it kind of made me think like, dang, should the Texans should have hired, that dude? But nah. I think we hired the right guy. I think D'Amico is the guy. I think he's gonna be able to get the Texas back on track. Now we're gonna segue into the next topic. Um, you know, Charlo versus Canelo. You know what I mean? How does this? If whoever wins this fight, I guess the question I'm gonna ask is, does this? And y'all getting this raw uncut on the podcast? How does whoever wins this fight? How does this better that other person's career? Right. So if Charlo wins, will this take his career to another level? Canelo wins, will this take his career to another level? So I'm gonna start this off, and then we'll segue to B. I think if Charlo wins the fight, this would do wonders for him, and it really would just solidify his career, basically. Beating a guy who's looked at as the face of boxing, who has a country behind him. Um, this win right here will basically let the boxing world know, even the casual fan, because the real boxing fans know Charlo can fight, but the casual fan, this will let everybody know that Jermell Charlo is the truth, right? Um, this will also help him financially, and this will make him be a cash cow. I think this will take him to a whole nother level if he's able to beat Canelo. If Canelo wins, I think this does nothing for him. He's already at the top. He's already the face of boxing in some people's eyes. And I just think that, he'll just go on with his career. You know what I mean? So, um, but I think Charlo is hungry. I think he's determined. I do think he has a chance, but that weight is gonna be an issue. You know what I mean? So we're gonna slide over to you, B. What you think? What you got?
Honestly, the last thing you mentioned, the weight, he ain't going from one division to the next division to the next division. He going from here to there. We already know that's a tough task in itself. Just putting weight on a body in general. That's even if you're not in boxing. If you're trying to gain weight, that's not an easy task. And then let alone if you're trying to maintain certain type of agility movement, some type of movement that's gonna recall all your endurance and stamina. Like adding on weight makes a big difference on how you perform. So that'll be a big question. I'm looking to see if it gets answered. How does he come out in this fight? Does he get gassed early? Does he carry the weight well? Does it transition with his footwork well? But all in all, I'm gonna say this fight it'll be more effective and more meaningful to a Charlo if he wins. It'll do more for his legacy than it would Canelo's. Because if Canelo wins, he already the top dog. He offering the 4 belts. He didn't unify stuff. He just solidified his name. So if Charlo can get this win in a fashionable manner, if he can get a unanimous decision, okay, that's really gonna boost it up. You know what I'm saying? But if he get a split decision, I feel like it'll still do the same thing. But as far as his career, Charlo's career, him getting the win against Canelo will put him on the side that you want to be on in boxing. You want to be on the business side. You don't want to have nobody say, hey, you got to mandatorily fight this person, or hey, you got to mandatorily fight this person, even though this person not worthy of a fighting match with a champion. So once he wins this fight, if he wins this fight against Canelo, it'll put him on the business side. He'll take more control of his boxing career. He can elevate his Lions Only promotion a whole lot more than what it is, even though it's already at a stellar position. But all in all, Charlo could profit more off of this win, but I got Canelo winning. But since we on the subject of boxing, when you get in your shadow boxing, like how many rounds you like to go and what type of style do you mix it up? Do you stick to like one type of style? Do you go solid defense, or do you a couple rounds? Do you go solid defense? Excuse me, or do you just go like rounds just jab, maybe work the hook in there? What you do when you shadow box?
So for me, um, and this is a daily thing that I do. I do 12 rounds of shadow boxing, but the first couple of rounds is strictly defense. But I break it up into segments. So I may do feet work, right? Making sure, okay, I'm pivoting, all right? I'm stepping, forward or stepping at an angle, changing angles, things like that. All right. The next couple rounds, all right, now I'm throwing head movement with it, right? Head movement. The next couple rounds, okay, I might throw, putting my hands up, things like that. Finishing it off with actual punching. I put it all together. I put everything together at in the last couple rounds. So I always try to start off with the feet first because your feet is everything in boxing, right? So I start with my feet and then I work my way up, right? Because I can't do nothing without these feet. You know what I mean? You can't do nothing in boxing without them feet. So, like I said, I start with the feet first, work my way up. I also switch from orthodox to southpaw. The reason why I do that is to give different looks, right? And to add to your arsenal. In boxing, you want to be as versatile as possible. You want to be able to be like smoke through a keyhole. You want to be able to form. You want to be like water. Let me use water. You put water in some type of solid uh item, it's gonna form to whatever solid item you pour that cup of water in. That's how you want to be in boxing. So you may come out orthodox, right? Dude, dude catching you. So you like, all right, man, let me go southpaw on this boy. You know what I mean? I also work on throwing combinations and switching stances, right? Switching from southpaw to orthodox. I may come, I may come out in spurts and do a Philly shell. I do situational. Also, this is something my coach taught me. Situational, having situational awareness, right? Knowing, okay, I gotta press the gas here. All right, hey, I gotta look the box here. You know, hey, it's just like in football when you have that situational awareness. Okay, in practice, hey, inside run. Okay, hey, we're doing no huddle. We're doing 2 minute drill, 2 minute drill. It's the same thing in boxing that my coach taught me was breaking stuff down in segments. That's why I do my shadow boxing like that. And it's benefited me so far. So I can ask you the same question. B, what you do? What do you do with your shadow boxing?
I ain't gonna lie, we come out a little bit different. My first couple rounds, I just work on just swift jab, just building that fence for my opponent, so they know like if I step here, he's still shooting and he's still popping that jab. All right, he's still popping that jab. Oh, you think I might relax a little bit, and then I might just hit a little quick head movement, pop pop. I just start off first 2 rounds. I'm just working the jab. Then the next round, no hand, no punching at all, just all defense, footwork. Like he mentioned earlier, I believe in building boxes from the ground up. Because if your footwork is superb, teaching somebody how to punch is easy. You know what I'm saying? You can give them numbers and put on the mitts and pat 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 with them all day. So building the boxes from the ground up is key. But like I said, I go into some footwork. I dance a little bit. I dance for 2 or 3 rounds. No punches. I might throw in some L blocks, slight defensive movements, some quick Philly shell, get back into the L's, pivoting, then next 2 rounds, all right, now I'm starting to put it together. Now I'm pop, you know, pulling, slipping, rolling, all that good stuff. I get into about 8 rounds. I ain't 12 rounds yet, but 8 rounds of shadow boxing is typically what I do. But now y'all got a little insight on us. Just because you got it don't mean you gonna get with us. But anyways, we gonna transition over into this Colorado Watch segment. Coach Prime, Shador Sanders, no Travis Hunter, still got Xavier Weaver. Dylan Edwards still not producing on the ground. We know you're a freshman, but you got to get that run game right. But anyways, number 18 Colorado goes against Colorado State at home. Again, like I mentioned, another low rushing total for the Buffs, just 70 yards on the ground total. 70 yards total for the game on the ground. Y'all making Shador have to do too much. I get it. You need to beef up your O-line, but y'all making Shador have to do too much. I'm glad you got Superman Shador at quarterback, because if not, it might be smoking the city for y'all. But anyways, like I mentioned earlier, no Travis Hunter. Sideline injured. He got hit after later than later. The ball had hit the ground, bounced twice almost. DB had pulled up. Travis Hunter pulled up. Bam! Safety came, smacked him in the chest, put him out. I had to go to the hospital. But all in all, the Buffaloes, they still get the job done. Shador Sanders, 38 of 47, 4 touchdowns and 1 pick on the night. He got off to a slow start again, but this Colorado State defense is a little slept on, because even when they came into this game, I was like, they should run through them. But as I watched them play, these boys was here to make a statement. Even though they lost, they let people know like, hey, we got defense, we got a solid offense, we can compete. Yeah, Shador Sanders got out to a slow start. And then he got it done in double OT. Xavier Weaver, dude, continue to be the guy. You know what I'm saying? Shedeur Sanders looked for him faithfully. You know, especially without Travis Hunter, you got to have a connection with somebody else because you may have a game where Travis Hunter got to run all 100 snaps on defense. He might not have a game where he can get on offense because he is guarding the number one receiver or the best receiver this country has to offer, and he got to be on him and got to be fresh. So I'm glad he's building that rapport with Weaver, and they continue to impress. You know, provide the spark, game in and game out. He hauled in 9 catches, 98 yards, and 1 touchdown. Jimmy Horn, you had a rough day, my boy, but I'm glad you got right towards the end. You showed up when I needed you most in prime fashion. You caught the touchdown to get the buffs to get ready to go into overtime for the 2-point conversion. Harrison didn't disappoint either. The tight end, he looked real good. I believe he was targeted 7 times and caught all 7, and he also caught the game-winning touchdown in overtime. Looking at the score, you would think this game was little to no defense played, but the defense just showed up. They did ball out. Colorado had 3 picks. Shiloh Sanders, primetime fashion, pick 6. He got one. He high stepped in his zone, did one of his daddy's dances. Way to pay homage, way to pay respect. But what you think about this performance? If you got a chance to catch anything, what you think about Colorado? How you feeling about them?
I thought it was a stellar performance. I'm not gonna lie to you. Watching the game, I thought they was finna lose. Like going into the fourth. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not before the game, but going into the fourth quarter. Um, Reason for that was because it was too much of a point gap to make up, but they made it up. You know, like you pointed out, 5. You know, that Florida boy. You know what I mean? He made that game winning. I won't say game winning, but clutch touchdown, and then they scored the 2-point conversion with the tight end. Um, the problem I have with them is they start slow. And what I want them to understand, which Dion pointed this out as well, is you got to start fast. You know, especially you going against Oregon, you going against USC, you know, UCLA. You got to come out fast. You know what I mean? We all know that when you guys are right, nobody can guard y'all. Nobody can guard those receivers. Nobody can stop Shedeur Sanders. He throws these guys open. He's phenomenal. But the one thing they're lacking that you pointed out is the run game. They got to find a way to run the ball. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but you got to find a way with Dylan Edwards. Dylan Edwards also got to adjust his attitude. He's a smaller back, right? He's a speed back. You can't finesse all the time. You gonna have to. You gonna. I mean, me and you, we know that we not big backs. We played the position. We're not big running backs. You gonna have to break that tackle. You gonna have to run through somebody's face. You know what I mean? I can't be Speedy Gonzalez all the time. I was fast when I was. It just you gonna have to set that tone. You know what I mean? Who cares if they bigger than you? Run through his face. So I think that Dion really gotta. I know Dion trusts his players, but with their running back group, he really gotta get in their tail. You know, if I'm Dion, I'm challenging them. You know what I mean? 70 yards total. Are y'all serious? Are you serious? 70 yards? Like, I know the offensive line ain't blocking, but if you that dude, make some stuff happen. We've seen some stuff where a guy had little to nothing to work with and he made something happen. Breaking tackles, making people miss. When you that guy, you make that play. But overall, the score doesn't do any justice, like you pointed out, to the defenses. You know, the defenses played good games. It was a rivalry game. You know, they came ready to play. You know, Colorado at first didn't, but they stepped their game up. They put their chin strap on. They said, "I bet y'all punched us in the mouth too long. You know, we ain't going out like that." So I'm intrigued to see if they can put it all together. They have yet to play a game where they put it all together, where the offense and defense started off hot. You get what I'm saying? The defense started off hot when, Colorado State threw that pick 6 to Shiloh. You know what I mean? Shiloh took that mug. He jumped that route. You know what I mean? I think it was like a hitch route. The guy ran like a hitch, and Shiloh jumped it and took that mug. 60-some yards. So like I said, I just I want them to play a complete game. You know what I mean? In which, like I said, Dion pointed out, but they just have to put everything together. The running backs got to step up. They have to. There's no excuse about, oh, we don't have a line. Step up, make those plays, make people miss, do what you got to do, and I think that if they do that, they could possibly run the table, man. You know what I mean? They could possibly run the table if they play a complete game. You know what I mean? But we've reached the end of the podcast, y'all. You know, it's been fun. We want y'all to continue to support us, continue to like the videos, share the videos, subscribe to the channel. We got more content coming. We got big stuff coming for the channel. We learning as we go. So you're going to see this get better and better. You're going to see this get bigger and bigger. You're going to see, you know, you might see some names on here. That's all I gotta say. I ain't, you know, I can't let the cat out the bag, but you're gonna see some names in here in the future. So, like I said, hit that like button, share with everybody, you know, and we ain't running from no smoke. So if you want to share your viewpoint and say, hey, you wrong about this, put in the comment section. We'll read it. But like I said, I'm Boss Hog. That's B Houston the Soldier. We out of here.